Please join us as we multiply. There's a trick we'd like to try. Let's play the switch the order game. Wow, the answer stays the same. Welcome to video 2 in the Taming the Multiplication Monster series. This video 2, is all about why it matters so much that the order we multiply numbers in doesn't matter. The answer will be the same either way. Understanding this really helps you tame the multiplication monster and learn your multiplication facts. The Taming the Multiplication Monster videos are based on a multiplication workbook I wrote by the same name. Yikes! I was just told I must memorize something called multiplication facts. And there are more than 100 of them. I'm not very good at memorizing stuff. What will I do? Let's help by first explaining what a multiplication fact is. Then let's show everyone that if you really understand why the order we multiply numbers in doesn't impact the answer, you can cut the multiplication facts you need to learn almost in half. Oh, that would be great. Awesome. Let's get started. Can we help? You guys seem very talented. That would be great. So, what's a multiplication fact? Remember last video, we talked about what 4 times 2 is telling us. The first number when we multiply, in this case it's 4, tells us how many groups we have. So 4 times 2, 4 is the first number, is telling us we have 4 groups, and there's baskets below to make each one of those groups. And then the second number, which in this case happens to be 2, tells us that each of those groups is a group of 2. So we have 4 groups of 2. That's what 4 times 2 is telling us. Like 4 groups of 2 apples each. Well, a multiplication fact is simply the answer that you get when you multiply 2 numbers together. So 4 groups of 2 apples equals a group of 8 apples. 4 times 2 equals 8 is what we call a multiplication fact. But why learn multiplication facts at all? To get the answer, why not? Well, just count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 apples there. Or we could just add 2 plus 2 equals 4 plus 2 more equals 6 plus 2 more equals 8. Or we could even skip count because I can skip count by 2s and go 2, 4, 6, 8. Please don't do that instead of learning your multiplication facts, because to learn the math that's right around the corner and the math after that and all the math after that, it really helps to know your multiplication facts. But just thinking about learning all those multiplication facts can be downright dizzying. But once you understand why the order we multiply numbers in doesn't matter, it cuts the multiplication facts you need to learn almost in half. That sounds great. Let's get started. Okay, but before we get started, you need to be blindfolded. While you're blindfolded, we will make a group of 3 times 2 bats. That's 3 groups of 2 bats in each group. Here's one group of 2 bats, and another group of 2 bats, and another group of 2 bats. So we've made 3 groups of 2 bats, or 3 times 2 bats. Cool! Wait. It doesn't look like 3 groups of 2 bats to me. It looks like 2 groups of 3 bats. And 2 groups of 3 bats would be 2 times 3. 3 times 2, 2 times 3, 3 times 2, 2 times 3. 3 times 2. 2 times 3. Stop arguing. You're both right. When it comes to learning multiplication facts, you can switch the order of the numbers you are multiplying. Like this. And the answer will stay the same. There's a total of 6 bats here, right? There will still be a total of 6 bats if you think of it this way as 3 groups of 2 bats, or if you group it this way as 2 groups of 3 bats. Let's do that again. There will still be a total of 6 bats whether you think of it this way as 3 groups of 2 bats each, or this way as 2 groups of 3 bats each. Either way, it's a total of 6 bats. Wow, that's so cool. Can you show me some more examples? Of course, we'd be happy to. Remember this from the last video? It was an example of 2 times 4, or 2 groups of 4 apples. We can switch how many groups we have with how many are in each of those groups. This has no effect on the total number of apples, just on how the total is grouped. Let's look at it this way too. Let's start out with 2 groups of 4. Let's copy the 2 groups of 4 apples to make it easier to see what's going on. Next, using the copy, let's undo the groups, and we can regroup those apples to make it 4 groups of 2 instead of 2 groups of 4, like this. The total amount never changed, right? It just got grouped differently. And all multiplication is describing how things are grouped, how many groups we have, and how many are in each group. And what we want to know is the total. So 2 times 4 apples equals 4 times 2 apples, or 2 groups with 4 apples in each group, has the same number of total apples as 4 groups with 2 apples in each group. They both form a group of 8 apples. For all the reasons we just talked about, when it comes to learning multiplication facts, you can switch the order of the numbers you are multiplying, and the answer will stay exactly the same. So, if you know 2 times 4 equals 8, you also know 4 times 2 equals 8. So 2 groups of 4 makes a group of 8, and 4 groups of 2 also makes a group of 8. Can we do another one? Sure. Remember this from the last video? We had 3 groups of 4 stars. So I've made a place here for 3 groups. And you can see now each group is a group of 4 stars. When we switched from 3 times 4 to 4 times 3, all we did is switch how those 12 stars were grouped. We didn't change the total number of stars in any way. See, still 12 stars. So if you know 3 times 4 equals 12, you also know that 4 times 3 equals 12. The answer will be exactly the same. Try out some examples yourself so it makes sense to you why the order we multiply numbers in doesn't matter. It can really help to work this out yourself to get a really good feeling for we're just grouping things differently. We're not changing the total in any way. The total will stay the same. Maybe pause the video here and show 2 times 5 is going to be the same total as 5 times 2, and they're both equal to 10. I'll do 2 times 5, 2 groups of 5 using circles, and compare it to 5 times 2, or 5 groups of 2 using circles. Here's 2 groups of 5 circles. In total, that's 10. And here is 5 groups of 2 circles. Again, that's a total of 10 circles. Maybe pause the video here and show 3 times 10, is the same number as 10 times 3, which is 30. I'll do 3 times 10, or 3 groups of 10 using circles again, and compare it to 10 times 3, or 10 groups of 3 using circles again. Here's 3 groups of 10 circles. Here's 10 groups of 3 circles. It's the same total number of circles. You can see it's just grouped differently. 3 groups of 10 circles, 10 groups of 3 circles. Technically, the 10 times 3 is telling us we have 10 groups of 3, right? And to find the total, we could add all those up. 3 plus 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 3. Yikes! I don't want to add all that up, and I don't want to memorize it either. Well, maybe you don't have to. Can you use what you've just learned to very quickly know the answer? Since I know the answer will be the same, I could switch to thinking of 10 times 3 as thinking of it as 3 times 10. And that's 3 groups of 10. That's easy. And 3 groups of 10 is just another way of saying 30. That's what the 3 in the tens place stands for in 30. 3 groups of 10. Awesome job. I think you really understand why the order we multiply numbers in doesn't matter. The answer will be the same either way. And understanding that cuts the multiplication facts you need to learn almost in half. In the next videos, we'll start learning some of those multiplication facts without memorizing. I think I know some already. Like, I understand why 3 times 10, or 3 groups of 10, it just has to be 30. Multiplication is pretty cool. I can't wait to start learning my multiplication facts. We can't wait too. This video is based on a workbook I made with the same name, Taming the Multiplication Monster. It was inspired by working with students who were struggling to learn their multiplication facts. And I wanted to give them an alternative to rote memorization, which wasn't working for them. This approach is based on understanding the multiplication that we're doing and also learning a few pretty fun patterns. I'm Dr. Marty Epstein. I have a PhD in math education, and I know a lot about how little kids first learn math and what can go wrong. Thank you so much for joining me for Smiling Dog Math. Please share, like, and subscribe so lots of little kids can build a strong math foundation. Bye for now.